Bruce's big call. Dinar Intel Thursday night, October 16, 25. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com blog and become our supporter on Patreon. Transcribed by Wiser, now emailed to recaps, Intel only. Welcome everybody. The big call tonight. It is Thursday, October 16th, and you're listening to the big call. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thank you for being here again and again. We love you and we're glad you're with us. We're going to have another good call tonight, and I'm excited for it. Alright, thank you, Bob. Appreciate that very much. Let's get into the Intel segment, and I didn't have a whole lot. We actually got a lot of information yesterday, and it was interesting because we had 5 or 6 different sources unrelated to each other that were telling us we are ready to go. They thought it would be today. Now, one in particular said we thought we'd be notified with our emails around 11 this morning, and it didn't happen. He said, if that doesn't happen today, look around 9:30 in the morning Friday, tomorrow. And I thought, alright. Well, we can do that. Now the way this intel changes, I'm going to intercept and introduce a concept. Remember, President Trump just brokered a peace deal, the 20-point peace accord, with Hamas and Israel. And there's still some stuff going on there, but they did, like Jeannie said, they have returned some of the deceased, people that were held captive, all the people that were alive. And there were 20 of them, came back about 3 days ago, but now it's time to send the deceased bodies back to Israel. And they're in the process of that, but Hamas is not exactly playing ball, so we'll see what they do. We know we can't trust what they say, so we'll see what they do. Next, President Trump has already had a call. I believe President Putin of Russia. He may have another one tonight or tomorrow. But I know that from Ukraine is meeting with President Trump tomorrow in the Oval Office. And those two are supposed to be putting together and signing the peace accord between Russia and Ukraine. And we should have that complete and announced tomorrow. And the word we had was President Trump will be announcing world peace tomorrow. Now that should satisfy Gassara and Nasara to get underway, and I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to us getting notified. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. It could push all the way to and through the weekend. Remember I said Tuesday, I'm hearing 2 things. I'm hearing Thursday, which was today, we didn't get it, and I'm hearing later in the weekend, like Sunday, even Sunday into Monday. So we're definitely heard at least till tomorrow, and it could end up being the weekend. And you know what? As a result, I don't know where we stand exactly, because we can't get confirmation back yet on the Doge payment. The R&R payment, and the tariff dividends, all of which are coming as direct deposits into our bank accounts. So we don't know exactly what status is on those coming. Social Security increases, we heard would be this month. No evidence of it, yet, no evidence. And we've actually already had 3 weeks of Social Security, first, the 8th and 15th, 22nd will be next Wednesday. So what we have heard people see is a notification from Social Security of a $99 increase. Well, that's not the increase that we're talking about. That might be a cost of living allowance. The only thing I can think of, it's just a little $99 bump. So I wouldn't call that the increase. So I would not count on it unless at the very end of the month, they go ahead and give everybody the increase that they are looking for in their Social Security that they didn't get. Let's see what happens on that. Court is still out on that. We can't get confirmation on that yet. Of course, I'll probably get something after the call is over tonight. Yeah, on Thursday night. Usually, that's something, but that doesn't help us now. Alright, so we go beyond that. We heard that now, the same person that gave us 11 o'clock today also gave us, if not, they'll look for something at 9:30 in the morning tomorrow. And then further to that, we go, okay, what is going on in Iraq? Well, we got word from our source in Iraq. And there's a couple of guys that we talked to there in Iraq that are very close to President Sadani and Iraq and everybody else that's of power there. They know them personally. And what we're hearing is that Iraq this morning, at 8:30 Iraq time, Baghdad time, did revalue the Iraqi dinar, and this time it's one where the 3 zeros on the 30 notes in Iraq, that would be the 25K, 10K, 5K. And 1K notes all have the 3 zeros stripped off to the point where they now are worth 25 dinar, 10 dinar, 5 dinar and 1 dinar without the 3 zeros. That does not affect our dinar that we have. We have dinar with the 3 zeros on, and that's what it's going to be when we go into the redemption centers. And we knew this was going to happen. Oh, it got at least 10 or 12 years ago. We knew this would happen. Finally occurred today. Finally. Now we don't know exactly what the rate is in country or the quote-unquote international rate. I know what the rate is going to be on our bank screens for dinar. I know what it is on the redemption center screen, and I know what the contract trade is for dinar. Remember the word hundo? That's right, in that region. So let's stay very positive about that. This is very good news that Iraq had to get their digital act together and to get the people connected with banks digitally. That's what primarily they're going to be, a digital currency, a digital country. And they did it. It had to be done by yesterday. President Trump told them to shake a leg, and they did. They got it done. So Iraq's done. They've got a new rate. They've got the 3 zeros off of the 25K, 10K, 5K and 1K notes. And so now it's just us getting the go-ahead. This is what we heard from Iraq. All they need now is the go-ahead from the United States, and that go-ahead should be a call or some communication from President and/or Scott Bessent. And Scott, I'm sorry if I pronounce your name Bessent instead of Besson. I just like the set better. Okay, so I think that's going to tell when those guys decide to let this go. That's when we get notified. The Forex was not up with rates, but the rates were blinking so fast on the screens yesterday. And I would think also today, that you couldn't even make any heads or tails out of it. Those rates will solidify, and maybe it'll take the Sunday to do it. We don't know when they're going to solidify. It doesn't really matter. What really matters is what's already happened. The Forex can show it or not show it. It won't matter. What really matters to us is redemption center screens showing the rate. We know what the front screen rate is on the dinar. We know what is on the dong, and we know what the contract rate is, which they should offer you, even if you have Zim. By the way, even if you have Zim, you can get the contract rate on dinar, but especially if you have projects. You don't have any projects, I would not count on the contract rate on dinar. If you have projects, and even if you have Zim, they should offer you the contract rate, or if they don't, very politely, ask them for it, if you have Dinar. Alright, so where do we take it beyond there? We know bondholders. We're told that they would have access to their funds today at 1 o'clock. I don't think that happened. I don't think they're going to get access to their funds until at least we get numbers and are setting our appointments. So maybe they get access tomorrow, maybe over the weekend. I don't know. We haven't heard that yet, but the good news is we're right there in the sweet spot. President Trump with Zelensky tomorrow in the Oval Office. I don't know what time yet, but I believe they'll get that done. They'll have a press conference, probably on it they will sign that peace accord with Russia and Ukraine. And President Trump will be announcing world peace now. Even if it's a temporary peace with Hamas and Israel, they did sign it, and it's in effect. So I think the president, you realize that's 9 different conflicts, including Russia. Ukraine will have solved 9 different conflicts, and it's tremendous. I'm very excited about this, and I think that we should all feel it feels really good about President Trump leading this country. Because he's doing a superb job, and he's going to continue to do that at least through the end of this term, if not beyond. Now what else can we look for? We know that there were deliveries made today to redemption centers and banks of what I believe is probably additional USN currency, our new folding money. And depending on when we get started with our exchanges, we should have announced as our new asset-backed currency, because the USN is a very integral part of the Nasara and Gesera. So I would look for that to happen over the weekend. There's a lot that could be announced. There's a lot of things. You know, are we going to get the emergency broadcast system? Are we going to see some additional items of disclosure? I don't know how soon, but I believe that won't be far away either. And we get everything that we need. Hopefully we learn everything that's contained in the law of Nasara for us, and we'll see how that's coming into play. I know it was a belief last night. IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, changed over to the External Revenue Service. And remember, we lost 70% of IRS personnel, either furlough or layoffs or whatever. And then the 30% that remained were the good people that will now be taken over the External Revenue Service. So we should get some announcements pretty soon about that, which President Trump has already talked about, External Revenue Service. We just want to know what it means in terms of no more taxes. I just don't know exactly what's going to take effect. It may take effect at the beginning of next year, 2026. It may take, it seems like you'd have a clean break, in other words, between one tax year and the next tax year. But I don't know. I just am not getting that clearly. But I think you're going to see Nasara rolled out, starting this month through the end of this year. Various components of it will be introduced and rolled out for the next 2.5 months. Today's the 16th, we're halfway through the month. We're just going to have to stay tuned and pay attention to our emails. And if you catch the news, it'll be on Newsmax watching it tomorrow, or One American News, or for good news outlets. I watch them both, and I think those are Trump likes both of them. So I'm going to be looking tomorrow to see when that's going to occur. Now, as always, remember, if registered on BecauseUniverse.com, you'll be able to put your email in as a sign-up so that we'll send you an email when we get the toll-free number. And we'll also put the toll-free number on our website itself, on the page of the website, and Bob and Ronnie are prepared to handle that when we get the number. I think everybody is ready for this. I know I am looking forward to it, and quite possibly the weekend play for us. I don't know of anything now that's holding us up. Tomorrow, we should have an analysis world peace by the president, and Iraq is done and ready, so we'll see. I think everything is coming down to the wire. So let's go ahead, thank everybody. We're kind of on the edge of this thing going, and just thank you Big Call Universe for staying tuned for 14 years. It's been a wonderful, wonderful ride. And we'll see what happens over the weekend, and at the very least, we should have a call on Tuesday. Hopefully it's a celebration call. We'll see what happens. Okay, everybody stay tuned. Have a great weekend and watch for the president to make this announcement and anything else that he might say. And maybe he might have some comms in his speech, usually has something that we can pick up in there. So let's go ahead and pray the call out. Let's keep an eye on the emails over the weekend. Listen to the full version on the official DinarReport.com blog and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: DinarRecaps.com.